Hi, it's Karen Josephus, Executive Director with Pampered Chef, and today I'm going to show you a favorite way to use leftovers. And I have corned beef, and when I buy a corned beef, I like to buy a big corned beef because we love corned beef. And we like to use it a couple of different ways. Now, I did prepare my corned beef in our multi-cooker using the sous vide function, and it turned out absolutely delicious. Is very tender, perfect for sandwiches. In fact, my husband sliced up a bunch of it for sandwiches. Little did he know that I am going to create a different recipe with it. So I have a bunch of corned beef cut up here, and of course I used my Santoku knife. This is our 5-inch Santoku knife, and I just gave it a good rough chop. And so there we go. And I'm going to use, I didn't even tell you what I'm making, did I? I'm making a Reuben braid. So I'm going to show you how to make a braid, and then I'll make our Reuben ingredients. And I'm not following any certain recipe, but I'm using about 2 cups of our chopped corned beef. And again, you can use the deli corned beef, but you want to make sure you're using a good quality corned beef. And also what I am using is sauerkraut. Now I got some homemade sauerkraut that was offered at one of our local grocery stores here in Port St. Joe, Florida. And I'm going to guesstimate here. Let me see. I think I'm going to start with 2 cups. Let me see. This is 2 cups. I like sauerkraut. I don't really want the juice in. And I am just going to mix that up with my corned beef. Now I'm going to say I'm using a cup of sauerkraut here. All right, because we're going to add cheese. Now, here in Port St. Joe, where I am, it's not always easy to find ingredients. I'm grabbing our kitchen shears here to open up some sliced Swiss cheese. Now this is 6 ounces. I wanted a little bit more cheese in my recipe, so I'm going to add a little bit of mozzarella cheese because I only bought 1 package. I should have bought a little. I wasn't really looking. I really wanted at least 8 ounces, and this turns out to be 6 ounces. Sometimes they change the measurements on packages. Now, again, normally I would grate this, but since it's already sliced, I'm just going to take this and slice it into little dice. And again, I'm using my Santoku knife right on top of my polyethylene cutting board, which you've probably heard me talk about many times. I love our polyethylene cutting boards because they're guaranteed by the National Safety Foundation to not harbor any bacteria. They are dishwasher safe. And I love that it has the silicone so that it adheres to my countertop and it doesn't flip all over. All right, so now I have some cheese in here. I'm going to stir this up. And there we go. I mentioned I wanted to add a little bit more cheese, so I'm going to add some mozzarella. That will also give it a nice creamy consistency when it's wet. Probably could have grabbed a larger bowl. This is our 1 quart batter bowl. I love it with 4 cups. It's really handy. Actually, here in Florida, I don't have our 8 cup with me. It's up in Michigan. So I'm using this. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take some of my mozzarella cheese. I'm going to cut off a hunk, just a couple ounces here, and I'm going to use our cheese grater. Now our cheese grater is awesome. I love our cheese grater. You guys, to me, this is the best cheese grater ever. When Pampered Chef came out with their cheese grater, I got rid of all the other ones I had in my kitchen because this is amazing. And when you buy a package, I want you to think about when you buy a package of cheese, a lot of times you'll pick up the shredded, okay? So if we talk about an 8 ounce package of chunk mozzarella cheese, usually I will pay anywhere from $1.69 to $1.89 for a package of it, depending on where you shop, Aldi's, Walmart, that kind of thing. Now, if you use half of it or use part of it like I'm doing today, and I put this back in the refrigerator, come back, it's a little bit green. All I do is I just cut off the green and use the rest of my cheese. If I buy a package of shredded cheese, if I only use half of it, come back 2 weeks later, it's a little bit green. It's a little light green actually, and you have to throw it away. You cannot salvage that at all. So it's very expensive. You know, it's expensive to throw away food, especially these days. And the next time I want you to read your shredded cheese and see the ingredients in it. There's something in it called cellulose. I don't know if it's an O, so I don't know if it's a plastic or a wood. The bottom line is I don't go to the grocery store looking for a jar of it, and they don't give it to you for free. So shredded cheese is usually more expensive than your chunk cheese. And so I do prefer to grate my own cheeses, and I like it because it melts better. I don't know if you've noticed that, but when you're using shredded cheese, it doesn't melt as well as cheese that you grate yourself. So a Pampered Chef cheese grater will pay for itself within just a few uses when you're grating your own cheese. And I also like knowing that when I have chunk cheese on hand, I have some flexibility as to how I want to use it. Now, this does come with a handle. I don't use the handle. That is my personal preference. If you are the type of person who cuts yourself no matter what you do when you go in the kitchen, you must use the handle. But again, I just grate flat-handed. I'm not putting my fingers down. I am grating flat-handed, and that's awesome. So and again, if you're using Parmesan Romano or Asiago cheese, you can also use this to do it flat if you like. It folds together to fit into your drawer, but I like using it on the angle like this. Again, it is sharp. We also have a large, you'll see in the catalog, we also have a very large grate, which is nice. Just depends on how you like to grate your cheese. If you like it nice and chunky, that would be the one for you. I even use this one for my Parmesan Romano or Asiago cheese because I do like those cheeses chunky. But to me, this is fine. So here we go. This is actually a lot of cheese, and I'm just gonna set this aside and you'll see why in just a second. Okay, so now I want to make a sauce, and I'm going to make a sauce kind of like if you like Reuben's. I love Reuben's, I like it with like either a Russian or a Thousand Island dressing. So I'm gonna make a dressing to incorporate into that, and I'm going to take a half of a cup of mayonnaise, and I'm reaching into it with my my small mixing scraper, and I'm using my Measure-All cup. I think most of you are familiar with our Measure-All cups, but if you're not, this is amazing for so many things. Now, I personally don't use it for dry measure, but when you're measuring peanut butter, Crisco, yogurt, mayonnaise, sour cream, all you do is fill it and then just shoot it right into, my hands are slippery from the corned beef. Just shoot that right into your bowl, just like that, okay? So very handy, you're not digging it all out. When you have, I have it upside down. When you have the blue arrow up, let me just do this, Karen. Turn it upside down. Usually when I take it out of the dishwasher, I make sure. But when you have the blue arrow up, you have your liquid measure, and this way you have your solid measure. And I'm so full of mayonnaise right now, but really handy for that. In this recipe, my measurement does not need to be exact, so I'm not worried about it, but it is handy for that. And I gotta grab some ketchup. So let me run to the refrigerator. We keep our condiments in bottles because it's handy. And I'm not going to measure, maybe about 2 tablespoons of ketchup. And now I'm going to use our sweet relish. And I'm going to add, I don't need a lot, maybe just a teaspoon. And now I'm going to take my mini whipper, and I'm going to whip this up. I'm going to add just a little bit more Again, we're looking for the color of Thousand Island dressing. And I'm just gonna whip this up. This is our 2-cup prep bowl. The prep bowls are fabulous. They're like mini versions of the batter bowl I told you about. I like to kid, like with this one, the 8-cup one is called in our 2-quart batter bowl, and we've had it ever since I've been with Pampered Chef. I call it the Bachelor Bowl. Beer, cereal, that's all they need. So, but little versions of this. This is this is the 3-cup prep bowl. They come 2 to a set. The 2-cup also come 2 to a set. And then we have a set of 6 of 1-cup prep bowls, which are really handy for things like this and measuring things. All right, so now I have my dressing, I have my filling, I have some extra cheese. And what I need to do now is I'm gonna move my cutting board over, and I am going to show you how to make a braid. Now, if you are familiar with making a ring, like with Pampered Chef, we do taco rings, we do broccoli chicken ring, we'll do taco ring, which is very popular. And if you have a round stone, of course, you can use it to make a ring, and sometime I will show you how to do this. But today I'm going to show you how to make a braid. And I'm using our bar pan here. Now this is a pretty new bar pan, and when you first get a bar pan, it feels kind of rough, and as you use it, it gets nice and seasoned and nice and smooth, okay? And it will discolor, and we say that the worse it looks, the better it cooks. So I'm waiting for this one. What happened was I got here to Florida. I have 3 of these in Michigan, and I decided I couldn't get through the winter without it, so I had to order a new one. But I've already used it a couple of times for bacon, and that's one of the best things to put on your stone to start seasoning it. Now, I'm gonna pull out 2 packages of crescent roll dough, and I always wait until the last minute to pull this out, because if I leave them on the counter while I'm doing a demo, they will get a little bit limp and they're a little bit harder to work with. So I wait till the last minute to make sure they're good and cold when I pull them out of the refrigerator. So I have 2 packages, and I'm going to use my kitchen shears again. Again, these are great. You can tell it kind of sounds like jewelry. They're stainless steel, they come apart to clean. Love them for so many different uses. And now what I have to do, and actually this is one of the hardest parts of my job. Seriously, if you can open up a can of crescent rolls, you too can be a Pampered Chef consultant with a great income and a fun job. So now I'm just gonna open this up, and I'm gonna take this. Now, if you can find crescent rolls that don't have the seam, that is pretty handy. And so I'm just gonna take this and roll this out. I hope you can see that. Yeah, you can see that. All right. And I hope you're all having a great afternoon. It's been a beautiful day here in Florida. We are expecting a thunderstorm. All right, so here we go. I'm gonna take my husband's just come in. He wants to see what's for dinner. Mm-hmm. He doesn't think I've ever made one of these for him before. Mm-mm. All right, so here we go. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna smush this down a little bit, smush being the operative term. I don't think I have, oh, I do. I'm gonna take my baker's roller and just kind of make sure the seams are all together. I love this for rolling things in pans, so handy. Now what I need to do is I need to take these, and I'm just gonna cut down, and I'm gonna make tabs, and I'm gonna try to make them very equal apart, equal distant. And here we go. And here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2. Okay. All right. Now I'm going to turn around. I'm not getting deep enough here. It's so handy when you use the shears for this. All right. Maybe a little bit deeper on there too. Now I'm going to turn this around and do the same thing. I'm going to try to match the sides for the size and the tabs. And there we go. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my mozzarella cheese, and I'm going to put on the bottom. That'll give me a nice foundation. Now I'm going to take my Reuben, my corned beef and my sauerkraut, and put all over the top. And now, I'm gonna make sure I get all of that. And now I'm just gonna spread this around. And make sure it's kind of even. I mean, really think of all the different ingredients. Like I mentioned, you can even do a taco braid. Anything you can do a ring, of course, you can do with a braid. I love to take sweetened cream cheese. Just take cream cheese, whip it up, room temperature, whip it up with a little bit of sugar, and maybe even some lemon, and put on the bottom, and then take cherry pie filling, put over the top, and just follow the same procedure. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my little braids I made, and I'm gonna just put them across one at a time. And there we go. Now you can all make this look, it will look really good after it's cooked, I promise. And so there we go. And there we go. So now I'm gonna just try to just pack in the ends a little bit. Oops, I'll pull this up a little. Well, it's gonna show. And all I need to do is I can just spritz this with a little bit of oil. And I'm going to use our spritzer. This is great because you don't have to have all of the cans that have the aromatic or, propellants in it. What's in this, and this is really great. I have olive oil in here, and of course you could put. We have our amazing garlic parmesan, or we have our basil infused olive oil, and I could put that in there too. But there is our what do we call it? Braid. So we'll bake this. Now I bake it to what the instructions say 375. I've got the oven preheated to 375. It says 9 to 12. It's gonna cook for about 20-25 minutes. So watch it, and then when it turns nice and golden brown, it's ready. Oh, and I'll serve it with my sauce. Okay? I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you'll try this, and let me know if you have any questions. Have a great day.